A lot of producers tagged me in this tweet, basically saying that now TikTok has changed its policy and they own all your beats. They own all the music you upload. They own everything now. What's going down, everyone? I guess we're calling this no pain, no gain. I don't have the jingle yet, but it's coming. I just have to find time. Erinn, how are you feeling? This was your birthday week. A whole bunch of stuff
Yes.
happened. First of all, happy
Yeah.
birthday.
Thank you. Yeah. I had a birthday. I released a book. It's an ebook. It's my authorial debut. And yeah, I put it out because I try to release something creative on my birthday always. And I had written it for the Excellence Academy, which y'all know I shut it down at the top of this year. So I just never finished it. Like I had the framework and I had most of it, but I never edited it. I never had like an ending. So I was like, let me just put this out. I put it out and I'm really proud of it. It's called How to Be Excellent, A Beginner's Guide to Achieving the Unbelievable. So that came out, I don't know when y'all are gonna hear this on Monday. So basically it came out May 9th, Tuesday. And then Wednesday, I was notified via my assistant when I woke up that I was like number one in multiple categories, like short read business book, self-help books, teen and young adult new releases. And then I was number two teen and young adult bestseller, which is crazy to think it's my first ever. And it's a really short read. It's like, I don't like I don't know if this is a popular thing to say, but I'm not a great reader. So I don't really enjoy long books. I'm in the middle of like 4 8-hour business books right now, and it's killing me. But so this is a really short read. And yeah, I'm just grateful for people supporting it. I'm grateful that it's out and that I completed it. And now I can call myself an author.
Congratulations. Yeah, I mean, the prospect of a book, even a short one, is a lot. I'm working on this course and it's going to be pretty much exclusively video. And I think, well, maybe I could make a written adaptation, but I'm like, can't AI do that? If
Yeah, it
everyone's
can. Otter. Just
okay,
plug your audio into Otter and it'll transcribe everything for you. Then you can send it to an editor and they'll take out everything that doesn't make sense for a book. Yeah, there is actually AI for that. I'm thinking about writing my next book in Otter where I just talk to the phone and then it transcribes it all and then I send it to my editor.
which is crazy because I love reading.
Mm.
I have a master's in English, so I
Oh,
should
wow. I
I
actually
should
didn't
be.
know that, but that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I just, that doesn't make a writer. You know what I mean? It just makes someone who was a nerd about a certain part of language. So, okay, cool. Let's jump into because this topic is kind of crazy. A lot of producers tagged me in this tweet, basically saying that now TikTok has changed its policy. They've given new terms for United States-based users, and they own all your beats. They own all the music you upload. They own everything now, and they don't pay you a cent. So I want to play the video that I was tagged in. This woman is angry about this new policy change that TikTok has just implemented. So let me share my screen. Originally posted by Cole Summers, who I believe is a producer. Damn, they're at 1 million views for this.
I was right. TikTok has new moderators now. To accept the US Terms of Service update yet? Well, if you're using the services right now, that means you've accepted the terms. Of course, there was a lot of normal stuff in the terms of service that are to be expected. I wasn't read, but this kind of sounds like if you use music on your videos, you're not going to be able to use that for monetization. Oh, but if you're a musical creator on TikTok, TikTok now has the right to reproduce the sound recordings that you've made and publicly perform and communicate them to the public, all on a royalty-free basis, which means that you're granting TikTok the right to use your user content without the obligation to pay royalties. That includes if you've already copywritten the music. TikTok is saying that it can use your copywritten music and not have to pay you at all. They can recreate it and distribute it. And if something happens, you waive your rights to bring a class action lawsuit against TikTok and their affiliated individuals and companies. It can also remove or disable access to content at their discretion for any reason or no reason.
My initial reaction, this is where my elitism comes in. When people say copywritten, it just hurts my soul. But aside from that, what are your first
That's
reactions?
that's the English major in you right there. That's
It
that
is.
that's that master's degree. Because it's funny, right when you said the word, I didn't think anything of it, but then I started laughing because it's like it's not copywritten, because copywriting is a different thing than a copyright. But but yes, because some people I feel like still aren't gonna get what you're saying right
They're
now.
not, because the crazy thing too is there are professional copywriters, WRITERS, and that's something that comes up a lot when we talk about the music business, because when it comes to, marketing or blogging or anything to do with marketing a project or a product, sorry, copywriting, as in writing, is an important element of that. But copywriting, as in your rights, your legal rights, that's equally important, probably more important. I mean, as just the basis to the music business, that's really what it comes down to. So we'll often talk about both of them. And I think, oh man, every time I see that other word that sounds the same, it's a homophone. Some people are homophobic because they do not like words that sound the same but mean different things. So yeah, it's like lay and lie. It's just it's
Or read and
unavoidable.
read.
Yeah, yep. Or apart and apart.
Okay, that one kills me.
I
It's
hate
like
that one. I'm not gonna lie.
separated. And I'm like the type of queen because I learned how to phonetically spell. So in my head, it comes out first just phonetically, and then I forget, like, wait, I gotta actually correct that. So I get it, I have grace for it, but a part and a part is so annoying to me.
Well, they
My
mean the different thing. They mean the opposite. So it's
the
like,
actual opposite, exactly. So I'm like, no, apart. When the word is together, that means that you're separated. When
yeah,
you're together, it's separated.
English is confusing. Also,
That's why my name is the Erinn Affect, because I know it's effect grammatically, but English is a made up language and everything doesn't make sense. And I like the acronym T because I feel like I'm tea for everybody. I'm soothing. I can be sweet. I can be warm. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I like it. But I agree. English is a made up language. This is all la la land.
it is. And our spelling. Did you hear about literally being now? So you know how everyone overuses literally and misuses literally. It is now in the dictionary as meaning not literally. That's one of the that's one of like the tertiary definitions, maybe. So
What?
this is what it's gonna have to be for like a part where we're just gonna have to start doing this because people just and I'm torn because the linguist in me is like, oh, this is a really interesting sociolinguistic evolution that we're witnessing. And then the English teacher in me is like, I'm still redlining the shit out of this.
Right.
So I don't know. I've existed in both worlds. But on to more important matters of that. So this is terrifying a lot of people, because especially producers that they're the ones on my timeline, but musicians, songwriters, rappers, whatever, they're upset because a lot of people are blowing up on TikTok, and if TikTok isn't paying royalties and they're stealing your copywritten materials, then that's problematic, obviously. So I understand why people are upset based on that interpretation of these new policies. So that's where there's a plot twist, though. And I'm surprised that no one else has discovered this, but I am going to share something. So when you look at a lot of the language in that particular terms of service agreement, you'll see that that's true pretty much across the board. I mean, all of that, the class action lawsuit stuff, all of that. But in terms of that non-royalty blanket license that you're granting TikTok, well, LinkedIn has the same thing. Facebook has the same thing. Instagram, owned by Facebook, of course, has the same thing. WhatsApp, also owned by Facebook, has the same thing. TikTok has the same thing. right? Here's the language right here. Non-exclusive, irrevocable, unconditional. I mean, these are scary terms, and there's a reason why social media platforms have these kinds of really all-encompassing godlike terms, because they want to be able to do whatever they want and make as much money as possible without repercussions. We've seen that they still get sued all the time, and then obviously the next go around they get legal counsel and they change their terms so that they don't get sued again for being assholes. However, what I want to point out, and this is the craziest part, these terms here that she was just talking about as being new, this article was written in 2020, 3 years ago. So none of this is new. So I don't want to criticize. I don't want to spend time I will criticize it. I don't want to spend time criticizing that video as alarmist. So I'm only going to take a couple seconds to do so. That video is alarmist because this is not new. However, to put things into perspective, all this means, well, I don't, correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not a lawyer. So from my experience with this stuff, basically just what it means is that not that these platforms are going to stop paying royalties, because that's what she's saying. She's saying music, TikTok is not going to pay royalties anymore. YouTube has had this agreement forever. YouTube still pays royalties. They still pay ad revenue. They still pay all applicable royalties. YouTube pays micro syncs. They still pay mechanicals, performance royalties, royalties to the master rights holders of songs. Because think about it, the labels would shut them down. Labels have billions and billions of dollars. They're not letting any of these platforms stream music, exploit music owned by these labels without paying. And so in a way, it's like Reaganomics for social media platforms, because that kind of does trickle down to the DIY artist. And like Reaganomics, it's totally problematic because, no matter what happens to the small artists, the platforms aren't going to prioritize us. We're the ones getting the copyright claims. We're the ones getting our music removed under false pretenses. So it really doesn't help us that much. But it's better than Reaganomics because it does help us a little bit, because legally we're covered. So thank you, UMG. However, what YouTube is saying is, they can use your music as they see fit without paying you or without asking permission, because they're providing the platform. For example, in advertisements they run, or in like the yearly wrap-up videos or something, they can just snatch your content off their site. They don't have to ask you for permission. I don't know what else YouTube does. TikTok is the same way. I don't know if you've seen TikTok ads. I've seen TikTok ads actually on YouTube, ironically, even though they're competing platforms, where they're just reposting content from a TikTok user. Like TikTok will take a viral video from TikTok and run it as an ad on YouTube. So because of that agreement, TikTok doesn't have to pay the owner or the creator of that content to exploit that ad, because they've uploaded it to their platform. Now, is this
Do you
fair?
hear it with music though?
I can, yeah. I mean, here's the thing. I don't imagine, because look, the labels have deals with TikTok. They have licensing agreements in place. So this is really only going to affect, the singer-songwriter that records something when they're unsigned and puts it on TikTok. And TikTok might say, you know what, this song is going viral. We're going to start using this in advertisements. And they're going to do it. They're going to exploit it because they know what's hot on their platform and how to bring more users over. So that's what they're going to do. I think I don't think this means that if you get signed to like if you're Billie Eilish and your song is playing in the background of your video, that doesn't nullify the agreement you have with your label. Your label is still running that situation, and TikTok cannot step on that. So I think there's a lot of confusion and alarm that's not really necessary at this point. I think if we were going to deal with overreach when it comes to social media platforms, that time has long passed. We should have done that 10, 15 years ago.
I think that we have opted into so much stuff because we just want access to the popular thing and they know that, right? Um, there's even certain settings that I can't activate on Instagram. Like I can't use certain pieces of Instagram because of security settings that I've opted out of. And I think that being a part of the fold is way more important to people than their actual security. And this is, like you said, alarmist because, and it might have not originally been intended to do that, but I do think that there's a level of due diligence that you have to say, okay, like how different is this than before? Um, but yeah, I think that there's a lot of like, even with Facebook, like the facial scans, like we opted into that so many years ago so that Facebook can now group your pictures together when you're with different people and do like the review, right? But like if they state it in plain language, everybody would be mad. But then the moment that they see a celebrity or some video or whatever, they're like, ah, I still got it. Do you know what I'm saying? Like it's like I don't think people are actually that outraged. Most people who are that outraged, like, and the wild thing is, I feel like she recorded that and posted it on TikTok. Did she not?
Yeah.
So I'm
I mean, I
like,
think
at what point, it like, because you're sounding the alarm, utilizing the platform to boost your signal. Do you know what I'm saying? It's
and it
like,
worked.
and it did because everybody is on TikTok.
Yeah.
And I will say this is one really minor thing, but it's actually not true. When I logged into TikTok after you sent me that video, it says agree to these terms and services or remind me later. You actually don't have to opt into it. So I hit remind me later. I went through to use it. There are a few features that are disabled if you don't utilize it, but I'm still operating on the old version of TikTok. So you don't have, she was like, if you're on TikTok, you've already opted in. And it's like, not necessarily. And then there's settings on your iPhone that you can also like utilize. And so like you can use some of these apps though. I will say there is one app that I tried to use when I selected those settings on my phone that would not let me download the app because they were like, no, you can't. But for the most part, you just get a downgraded version of most of these settings. So
Oh, like
I
the
don't,
tracking and all that.
yeah, or
Yeah.
not just the tracking, but there's a couple of other ones that is the like facial ID, certain
Mhm.
things with your thumbprint, certain things with
Jeez.
but yeah, tracking your usage, and then even like location tracking. With different ones, I turn off certain things altogether on my phone, and certain apps require that you have those on when you're using the app or on to have the app on your phone. So I just end up opting out of some of those things. But I don't know. I think it's really interesting how we've already given up every level of security the moment we have a smartphone.
We've
So
literally sent our DNA off to ancestry companies.
I haven't, but yes, exactly. So it's like everybody is like having a Ring camera, having an iPhone, having a computer, having an Android. Like we have given up so much security, and I'm not saying like this isn't again to be alarmist about an alarmist, but I think that one, you do need to really examine the legalities of it. If that's your issue, maybe talk to a lawyer. But if your issue is just that you're mad that these people don't care about us and they're not here to serve us, like, welcome to the world, but especially America. Like, that's the whole point. And the only reason they're even doing certain things like this, is because what's going on with the platform in the United States. I don't know. There's a lot I could say, and I don't want to make this a political thing, but I just feel like we're all already stuck, and it's like you can either opt completely out of the service and opt out of a lot of these things and be somewhat off grid, or you're almost forcibly required to be there, but you decided to be there because you want to participate in the fun trend. Realistically, that's what it is.
Yeah, and I mean, I think the facial recognition stuff is infinitely more terrifying than this. I mean, even if the woman in the video's words were 100% accurate and I was not going to get paid any royalties for anything that I uploaded to TikTok, one, I wasn't getting paid to begin with. Instagram Reels was damn near the only method to get paid to post on social media, and that's
I
gone.
mean, TikTok does pay people, but they choose who they pay. Like
Right.
they invite you to their paid platform.
Yeah, and these aren't royalties. These aren't, you're not getting an ASCAP statement because you got 10,000 TikTok views last month. So it does feel like a straw man. Like she's creating this thing that doesn't exist and then saying, okay, well, now that's gone. It's like, it never existed. So there's that. But it's like the fact that, and like, I guess I'm not trying to get political either because that's not why people are here. But um, a lot of these platforms, virtually all of them, Google, whatever, all these technologies, facial recognition stuff, all this DNA stuff, all the fingerprinting stuff, they work with the federal government, they work with law enforcement, they work with, and as many of us are aware, those entities don't generally have the best interests of the citizenship in mind. So, hey, we opted in. We've been opted in. So you can't, as they say, you can't put the genie back in the bottle.
Yeah, we opened Pandora's box a long time ago. And it's like, unfortunately, like all that's happening, in my opinion, is that like dark web technology becomes mainstream via social media. Do you know what I'm saying? It's not even like it's not even necessarily like Google obviously is like utilizing and hoisting because they're YouTube, but it's like the stuff that everybody is like, ooh, it's dark and it's like, yeah, you opted into that to post a cat video.
Right.
No, and then don't let you be able to post that or say this thing, and it's censorship, and it's you gotta choose. It is very much like our political system, like two evils that they're forcing you, like you know what I'm saying? And the
Yeah.
internet is a privilege by and large. Like we just have to recognize that too. Like if you're gonna be shitty about it, it's like it's a privilege. You don't have to participate in these things. If this is where your business lies, then you're like us, caught between a rock and a hard place. It's like, what is the best decision for me? But I think that, yeah, to me, it's very hard to examine this unbiased when again, she posted it on TikTok.
Right. Yeah.
I
And
just,
then
I
it's on
don't really
Twitter.
understand that.
Matter of fact,
Yeah,
let
and
me
then it's on
check.
Instagram, it's everywhere. And it's just like, I understand that you're trying to warn people, but everybody's already on the platform. They have to be on the platform for you to go viral.
I'm going to check to see if Twitter has that same, because they weren't mentioned in the article. I find it hard to believe that Twitter would not have a similar TOS.
I'm assuming because Twitter, even though Twitter has a ton of videos, but I feel like because it's not a video, or especially because maybe music or intellectual property isn't widely spread outside of just the words, I don't know. I feel like that would be, if it wasn't there, that wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, Twitter has that. Yeah, a royalty-free license with a right to sub-license, use, copy, reproduce. Yeah, so Twitter's the same. Yeah, ironically, these restrictive terms of service are allowing this video to go viral. I think you know the risk is when this kind of information, not even the risk, because all these platforms are suppressing information. I want to kind of talk about that a little bit, not so much political, but just in a general sense. They're suppressing information, and this information is not being suppressed. So I don't know what that means, but I do want to point out that this particular post, which is a repost from Twitter, got 1 million views, not 1 million raw views, but 1 million impressions, basically, which is a lot. And this gentleman that reposted this video is not a Twitter Blue subscriber. So that's organic traffic. for me, it's hard for me to say. So like all the producer content I tweet about generally did fairly well in the Twitterverse, where I'm getting thousands and thousands of impressions and hundreds of interactions with mostly all the content that I share on Twitter. And it makes sense because I've been using Twitter for a long time. I lost my verification badge because I'm not paying the $8 because it's just not a priority to me. And I don't believe that $8 is going to amplify my voice or expand my reach. And I just don't believe it. So my experiment is just to continue doing what I'm doing to see what happens. And it feels like my organic reach has been bottlenecked a little, um, which is like whatever. I mean, YouTube is the same way, and I don't pay for verification on that platform. YouTube is actually worse than Twitter, in my opinion, when it comes to the algorithm. But having said that, I'm seeing a lot of producer content continue to do well, and then some of my tweets have done well, some of them haven't. What I've noticed is that my timeline, and Nick Mira pointed this out, who's a producer. I think our viewers probably know who Nick Mira is. He said all of his ever since the Elon Musk takeover, all of his feed content is like fight videos. And mine is too. And I don't watch it's either like fight videos or right-wing transphobia. And
In your feed?
yeah, because
Wow.
it's now it's what I learned is that there's the feed, which is for you, but then there's like a subcategory of that, which is following. So I need to switch to following because I'm not following people posting fight videos or rants about bathrooms. So it's like, okay, um, that's a change though, because my For You feed used to be relevant to me. It was producer related content, music business related content. Now it's like two British dudes cutting each other with swords. I'm like, what is going on? Um, I don't know. Have you noticed any changes on your feed or your organic reach, anything like that?
Um, I have noticed a change in my feed. Well, I haven't noticed a change in my feed. I've noticed a change in my reach. So, and it's fluctuates because I used to like consistently my tweets would do well for me, the amount of followers I have, but now it's like one tweet will get one or two likes, and then another tweet will get like 50 or 60 and then several reposts, which is like what was kind of standard for me. So, and then I get, occasionally you get a good tweet off. I don't have nearly as many followers as you, but for me, I never, I haven't in a long time had the majority of my tweets get one or two or three likes. It's been a really long time since I've had it like that. And I get those now more regularly where I'm just like, just a handful of likes or retweets. I also don't tweet as much as I used to. So I wonder if that's like not feeding the algorithm as much. So yeah, I'm not sure. And I started posting more of my wins. So I don't know if that's like I do know that people like to celebrate, whereas like I used to post more of my angst. And Dame, is notorious for telling me like you don't have to put that on Twitter, Erinn. So I don't post as much of my angst, and then I've been very angsty lately, so I just haven't been tweeting. So maybe that's what it is. But yeah, my feed is still very similar. But I'm in the Black Twitter stream, so I think that maybe we've never been co-opted because they don't understand that. I don't know, but like my feed is the same. I will say that like sometimes gross or like really inappropriate stuff pops up in there and I'm like, what's up with this? Like, why is this being sent to me? But again, it's the following. If somebody is on that wave, but I just look at who it came from and I'm like, cool, I'm gonna unfollow you now. But no, Twitter feed for me is it's still pretty good.
You know what I'm noticing too? A lot of musicians are doing this, but I feel like this is a strategy that they got from OnlyFans models, where you see like some nasty content that's going viral, and I'm not saying this is a good strategy. I don't think it is. Um, regardless of what you do. Maybe OnlyFans is different. Um, maybe we can get someone on here that uses it at a high level, but replying to controversial tweets with more controversy, like if you see a fight video and clearly someone was in the wrong, and then they post, well, that's why they got that ass beat or something like that, and you'll see they get a ton of engagement. So it's the all attention is good attention philosophy in
Yikes.
practice.
That makes me upset. I have seen an increase in those type of comments, not necessarily from artists, but that actually makes a ton of sense. It's like people just want the engagement, but I get like I'm super sensitive and I really do care about humans. So I get really it gets hard for me to go through and read comments, especially when I see something positive and people say like really I just get upset. So I try to stay out of comments, especially on like viral tweets because I get really frustrated and then I'm hurt cuz I'm like why are you so selfish and small-minded that you can like you're putting more evil into the world? And and it's like creating more tension and more anxiety because now everybody's like, and then I'm upset and I'm like, I just got to get out of here. So I actually didn't realize that was a trend with artists. That's very sick. I just don't understand that way of thinking. I understand that it's all attention, but I also think that it's cheap and lazy and it's doing is adding to more chaos in the world, which I don't appreciate when people do that.
Yeah, well, it's like here's more chaos. Oh, by the way, Spotify link, or here's more chaos. Check out my YouTube. I think with the OnlyFans, I don't know if it's different. I see that them just stirring up controversy, and you're like, you're not even really saying anything that you necessarily believe in. You just want eyes on it because I think that people will on impulse see a crazy comment and then click on the profile, because they're angry, and then they're
Like,
like, oh
who is
wait,
this?
she's kind of cute. Let me see what this OnlyFans is about. Maybe it works. I don't think it works. Like I couldn't do that. I couldn't see a awful video where it's like, racist old man gets hit by a car, and like I post in the comment, well, grandpa fucked around and found out. Here's my beat link. I'm not going to sell any beats doing that. So, but that's probably just demographics. If I was like, I'm the thickest 22-year-old on Twitter, maybe it would work better. I don't know. I just think the world is so weird. And the same way advertising practices from corporations are kind of twisted, now we're seeing independent creators use similar practices. And we actually, what am I talking about? We saw that there was a gentleman way back, like many years ago. And I forget his name was like Beats by, I think he had an Arabic name maybe. And I don't know how he did it. Either he was some kind of engineering genius or he just had all the time in the world. But any celebrity tweet always had a reply by him with a link to his beats. And I was always like, man, this is so annoying. It just kind of makes the producer community look bad. People always, shut the fuck up, and just always talking some shit. So I kind of sat back. I'm like, well, let's see what happens, because maybe I'm gonna have to eat my words. And 10 years from now, he's gonna be Khaled, because everyone knows who he is. Name recognition. It doesn't matter. All attention is good attention. That's what people always say. And I don't even remember his name now. I don't think anything positive ever came of it. And I think, well, damn, that was a lot of work that he invested his time into. I'm not saying his name recognition wasn't a positive thing. I think to an extent it was, but I think his error was that he put so much energy into that one strategy. And that's not a strategy that I personally think is going to work in this space. And I don't. Maybe he's just secretly rich right now, and he's retired, and that's why we haven't heard from him. I don't think so. I think he just got burnt out, because I would have gotten burnt out after a month of doing that. He did it for like 2 years straight. So I question at least for producers, also recording artists, whether or not all publicity is good publicity really is effective.
Yeah, and I think that a lot of times you have to have something to stand on.
Yeah.
Um, Even in the case of like some of these like shock value people, like what is it, bad baby? What was her name? Or like,
She's getting money though. And for the
yeah,
wrong
but I'm
reasons.
saying, but that was the thing. It's like she blew up and then she had something to stand on, whether you
A
agree
lot.
with it or
She had a
not.
lot to stand on. I don't think she's writing her own songs, but they are kind of dope. I don't know if you've heard them. If you're in the mood for just like some vulgar bullshit, which every now and then you
I
are,
heard like a 30-second clip and I was like, yeah, I'm good.
sometimes you just want to hear, like a teenager just be totally self-destructive and base. And I'm like, oh, there we go. We got
I
her.
live in Atlanta. I can hear that shit out my window. I don't need I don't need somebody cosplaying the culture and doing it poorly.
Well, I think she's actually out of the original episode. Her family life is rough, so
For sure. I'm
I
just
think she is a
saying,
psychopath and she has problems in
yo,
life,
she need
so to
all
speak.
of us need therapy. She
We
need
do.
therapy. And that's the thing, it's like she got a platform off of the negativity, so she kept building on it. But my point is just like a lot of people are just like, I'm gonna be popular. I'll even say this. I'm not using him as a good example, but like even with 6ix9ine, he
Mhm.
was shock value, but he wasn't just trying to shock you. He was like, but I also have music and I've also
Yeah.
created a cult following in my city. And I also, you know what I'm saying?
And
So
his
it was
music was
like,
different. It was unique.
yeah, so he had something to stand on. But to me, spamming a beat page that requires me to now come listen to your beats and then purchase. Whereas with 6ix9ine, he was creating shock value and then releasing a bunch of, like you don't have to pay to go on YouTube to watch it. You don't have to. So now it's like his numbers are growing. Then he gets the money from the label or the mafia or whoever. So he's utilizing his attention to leverage other people's money, and then
Yeah.
he cycles that. And I think that that's something like you have to have at least a little bit of business acumen to leverage attention, whether it's negative or positive, or at least somebody on your team. So I think that's the issue, is that when people just think attention is going to help you, it's like attention will give you leverage if you have something else to counterweight it. But
Yeah.
if you don't have something for it to teeter on, it's just that attention. You know what I'm saying? That's like, yeah, is you got to know what you're doing with it. I again don't really enjoy the negativity of it, but there's got to be something that's weighting you down to say like this is leading to that and then is leading to that, and it can't be like I have the best bars in the world. If you want people to appreciate your art form, then you probably don't want to leverage a ton of negativity because you're looking to receive positivity. Whereas with 6ix9ine, bad is it Bad Baby? How do you say her name?
Yeah, it's bad, baby. I don't know why it's spelled like that.
Yeah, well, probably because Bad Baby would be SEO wise.
Yeah.
That's another thing. That's what I'm saying. Like, even that, like the spelling of it is super memorable.
Yeah.
So it's like you can tell that there's some, even if it was ignorant, like I'm trying to spell it like on some hood rat shit. But I just think that there's some level of intricate understanding of people and then culture and then leverage, so that it's like they're not looking for people to be like, this is the hardest song out. They're looking for people to keep coming to it. It's just like the Amber Black. To me, she was the first like negatively viral success that I ever remember. Was it Amber Black? She said she had the Friday song, something
Oh,
black,
oh, oh,
Amanda
Rebecca
Black.
Black. Yeah, Rebecca.
Rebecca Black. Yeah. Here's the thing. I never watched that video. I never watched it. I only heard clips of it years later on socials because I was like, I'm not giving her my attention. But it was like, the point is, you're so bad. We want to keep coming and laughing. That's like the William Huang, whatever that dude
Yeah,
was
William
on
Hung. Yeah.
American Idol. Do you know what I'm saying? It's just like these people weren't expecting to be like, oh, you're the most amazing. Whereas when you look at somebody like NBA Youngboy, he wants to be respected as a creator. You may not like it, but he's not going and stirring up negativity for people to now come to his page. He's like, no, I'm an artist. This is my life. I don't care if you don't like it, but you know what I'm saying? So there's like a difference in the tactics. I think people just have to be mindful of understanding that it's all business and it's all marketing. If you don't have a funnel to it, you're just a shallow drop in a really big bucket. And for that moment that the drop is reverberating through the bucket, that's your attention, but you're not filling up a bucket with that.
That speaks to the conversation we had recently about the investors, where the investors who don't know anything about the music business or just business in general want to spend money to get you attention if they're investing in you. That's what it always is. In like 90%, probably more. So I was like, we're just gonna let's drop some money on this so that there are more eyes on you. It's like those eyes don't mean anything. You're spending $100,000 to get eyes on something. You need to spend $100,000 on the foundation and then see what the next logical step is. But that's why I say, man, I wouldn't even accept that money because I mean, for me, even right now, where I am, as established as I am with my business, $100,000 just for a look isn't really helpful. I mean, are you gonna? If someone approached me and they're like, "I want to give you $100,000 for the DJ Pain One brand," I'm like, okay, are you gonna let me spend the money, or are you gonna be the one that dictates where that money goes? Because if you're the one, then I don't want it. But if you're giving me $100,000, I'm going to scale up my ads because I already have a method that I've used. I'm going to upgrade my video equipment. I'm going to do all these things because I've already been doing so much over the last 15 years. I know where I need some improvement and how money can assist in that. But a lot of people just starting out, someone wants to clean up their money and they're like, hey, I want to drop this amount of money in your career. And they're like, yeah, great. I need a look. And that, yeah, like you said, that look doesn't help them. It's just people look at people every day. And unless that person has something memorable, then it's just a look. It's a glance. And same thing with music. To speak to the Bad Baby situation though, yeah, like I didn't want to dismiss the fact that I don't want to open a can of worms again politically, but like I do find that creators or celebrities or whoever who have these harmful, self-destructive, and toxic tendencies tend to express it using Black art forms and get a ton of attention doing that.
I wasn't gonna touch it, but there we go. Because the ones that I named explicitly, that's what that's the lane that they're on.
Well, and especially Bad Baby and like Dr. Phil played into it too. I noticed Dr. Phil never checked any of his non-white guests for using colloquial speech, but when she said something that was what a lot of people will call an AAVE construction, all of a sudden it was, what grade level did you graduate at? It's like, okay, Dr. Phil, we see you. So that's another conversation for another podcast channel.
And I'm saying there's so many Black troubled youth. Dr. Phil wasn't bringing them on his show. You know what I'm saying? So it's like to be on such a massive platform out the gate, that's again another foundation that you're standing on. It's just, can of worms, but that's white America for you. Same with 6ix9ine. It wouldn't have worked if he was just a troubled Black youth, because we see that regularly. That's another reason why I'm pointing out that NBA Youngboy is not in that same vein, because people try to make it the same thing, and I'm like, it is not the same thing. Like, you may not agree with his music, you may not like his methodologies, but like he built it off of something that was real and true to him, and he's one of the few that's been able to keep it going like that, where there's literally, I could throw a rock and hit 50 kids in this neighborhood trying to become NBA Youngboy, and it's not going to happen for them, even if they take the 6ix9ine route, because they're Black in America. So
yeah, I guess this is just a neutral statement. His music is also really good, but there didn't he was he the one that was gonna become Mormon, or was that real?
NBA YoungBoy was?
I thought it was him. Hold
I didn't
on.
hear about that. That's actually wild.
Yeah. Back in February, there was an interview in which he said he was going to be baptized in the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. I don't know if that's accurate, but I thought it was interesting. I who
When did
knows?
that article come out?
February.
Interesting.
All right. I have nothing more to say about that. I have no idea. So let's wrap it up on that. But Erinn, where does everyone find your book if they want to check that out, which they should?
So on the Amazon Kindle app, you can just search my name, ERINNKNIGHT, if you want, or you can search How to Be Excellent. Amazon originally kept correcting me and spelling it with one N, but now that I'm charting, you know what I'm saying? As soon as you type in my name or How to Be Excellent, it'll come up. So How to Be Excellent, a beginner's guide to achieving the unbelievable, is available on the Amazon app. The Audible version is dropping next week, which I'm really excited about. So if you don't want to read it, or if you really just love listening to my voice, you can listen to me narrate it because I narrated my own book. So yeah, thank you. Please check it out. Also, you can subscribe to my newly started YouTube. It is a very, very, very baby channel. It has only a handful of videos, but my shorts are doing really well. So if you'd like to subscribe to my YouTube, you can type in at the Erinn Effect, the same as my socials, or you can type in the name of the channel, which is Everything Erinn. But that's how you can stay connected to me.
Everything Erinn is a great name for a brand.
Thank you.
Well, what am I talking about? You came up with No Pain, No Gain. So this is really
No, no,
something.
no. That was Dame. Dame came up with that.
Oh, I thought that was you.
No, it was Dame, and he said it, and I was like, "Yo, that's
Oh,
it."
and then someone in the comments was like, "How about No Pain, No Dame?" I'm like, "But wait a minute, Dame's not here right now, and I'm still here, so it doesn't work that way."
Wow.
Yeah.
Facts.
Sorry, guys. So hopefully Dame will join us next week, or I don't. This is not MEC. We're living in a post MEC podcast world, and anything could happen, really. So whoever you are, for whatever reason you're watching, we appreciate you. Thank you. And there will be more content. Peace.